Oops. Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast, episode number 127 with just the hosts. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're not a member of our private Facebook group, you should be, because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. My name is Wilson Horrell. I am one of your hosts. I'd like to remind you that the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast is not censored. So if you're listening with children at the car or at your dinner table, you might want to be careful.
If you're listening to this show at your dinner table, I want you to send us a message because I want to know.
Right.
I want to know that you're listening to this show while you're eating dinner.
And we want you on the show.
I want to know anyone listens to a podcast, not just this one, but any podcast.
I don't care about other podcasts. I just care about this one.
I do. Like, who is the person that has, okay, we're having dinner.
Let's start up the LHRL podcast.
They probably, each one of them has an individual iPad, and they're watching us.
And they're on headphones too?
I would think so.
Okay.
I mean, wouldn't you?
No, I'd listen to it on my Amazon Echo.
If I could watch my podcast while I was eating dinner, then sure, I would do that.
What
but
happens,
I'm on the podcast, so I can't do that.
What happens if you ask Alexa to play the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast?
There are podcast apps, and man, I know how to do that. Alexa, play Lift Heavy Run Long. I can make that happen.
Like
when I ask Alexa to do anything,
just for you.
I can make that a skill that's published.
Wow, that's a good idea.
I can't say, whenever I say LHRL into Siri, for whatever reason, she prints out LHRL AA guy.
Double A guy.
I guess it
AA
has some.
Guy.
Yeah, so there's
weird.
so somewhere along the way there's been like no matter how slow I say it, hey Siri, remind me when I get home to mail the LHRL shirt. Mail LHRL AA guy shirt.
Do you think that people are searching Google for LHRL AA guy? Look. AA guy. I think what's happening is people are searching for LHRL AA guy to find like something that you wrote or find you or your podcast.
Oh, that's
interesting.
interesting.
So Siri has associated it with.
Not that I'm associated with Alcoholics Anonymous, just that maybe.
No, not at all.
By chance.
Well,
there's enough recovery people.
Well, you've told people that you are
in a 12-step group.
Recovering.
Yeah.
Person, so they might, and to people like Brian and I, we might just assume that means AA. You don't know, so people might be going, "Hey, Siri, find me the LHRL AA guy." I guarantee you that's what it is.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Enough to change the Siri search parameters. Wow.
Well, I don't think that's a thing. Like I think if it wouldn't take millions of people to do it, I think it would just take hundreds to thousands of people to be.
But still, I mean, so every time he tells Siri LHRL, it comes up LHRL AA guy.
Right, and so Siri thinks because all these other people have searched for that same thing, or even asked her about the same thing.
You know what? We should write an app.
We really should.
That replaces Siri.
We're going to get an app at some point, but we have an app now.
We do have an app already.
And we want you to be on that app.
We do.
And you can be on it for only $3.99 a month. You can be part of the Lift Heavy Run Long app, where you will be subscribed to the LHRL Daily, which is 3 bodyweight exercises every week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, you'll be subscribed a WOD and a barbell strength exercise. For $9.99 a month, you can have access to all of the programs that Lift Heavy Run Long has to offer. There's also a community chat room. What is that called? Is that a chat room? Is that accurate?
Yeah.
You have access to Valerie Hunt, the best trainer in the world, endurance athlete. Anybody who's into running probably knows who Valerie Hunt is.
Or you're not a good runner.
At your disposal. Yeah, and you can not be a good runner and know who she is, either one. So it's a deal. You should be on it.
It is a deal.
And we have big things to come in regards to the LHRL app.
And if you can't afford it.
If you can't afford the LHRL app, but you know someone, or you're that someone that can use fitness in your life, but you don't have $3.99 a month to spare, then email me at wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com, and we are happy to add you to the app free of charge.
The app is really gaining some momentum recently.
Yes.
And it's fun because I'm starting to see people that I know sign up for the app that I'm like, wow, I didn't expect that person to pop up here. And I just love seeing that. Like, there was a lady today that signed up, Beatrice Lee, who signed up. And she's been following LHRL since almost day one.
Wow.
Like, for years. And I was like, oh, my gosh, I'm so glad to see these. I guess people are they're becoming more aware of it or whatever.
Interesting.
The podcast is getting more popular, I suppose, and
it's got to have something to do with that, because when the app first came out, of course it hit really hard, and we didn't know what we were doing. It was just a big conglomeration.
And we were giving it away, right?
We were giving it away,
especially on day one.
And we were giving away in such an unorganized fashion. Like, we're giving you you got a little 10K.
Right.
Couple days here, and then you got whatever, and then it was just a lot. And I was figuring out how to use it. We were just figuring out what we were doing with it. And there was like a quick 1,000 people on there. Yeah. And there's a quick almost 1,000 people off of there. And so since then, it's been kind of churning forward. And now we've got this big boom with it, which only makes me more crazy in the fact that I want an app that does what I tell it to do when I tell it to do it.
Right.
It's going to happen.
Yes.
We're going to build a better mousetrap.
Who's we?
Me, myself, and I, and whoever else you hire to do it.
Oh, man. I wasn't going to say anything about that. But it's going to happen, is it not?
It's going to happen.
It's going to be awesome.
Wilson and I have been in talks.
Oh, really?
The cat's out of the bag. See,
and you didn't tell me about it? That hurts my feelings.
Well, because it's so much pressure for a guy like Swanson who knows how to do it. It's one thing for me to sit over here and say, I'm gonna make sure we have an app. Well, what do you have to stand behind that? Well, nothing. But then when Swanson says, hey, man, I'm ready to do this thing, then I'm like, So that's where we are. Big things are coming down the pipe.
You got a guy or you're going to do it?
I'm going to do it.
Oh, well, yeah, I have complete faith in him if he's got the...
Wilson's learning Swift.
Really?
He's going to be an iOS developer.
Well, there you go.
I know enough about Swift to know that I couldn't develop one of those things. But, I mean, you've got an app that controls billions of dollars in assets.
I do.
I would think that you would be able to do. And, well, I don't know, man. I mean, doing anything, connecting those databases and getting things to add together and making it run without showing red marks, that's a lot. I mean, if you can make something that can keep track of $4 billion, you can make something that keep track of somebody's bench press.
I think so.
Or at least spit back a number that makes them think it's their bench press. You just got to get close.
That's right.
So this is going to be good stuff. And I hope you're better at app building than you are trivia. I've heard that you've had a hard time with trivia here lately.
Yeah.
Your trivia streak has not been good.
A good streak.
I got people on the inside thirsty.
Well, what have you heard?
I just heard that, you've had some...
You should tell us about your trivia streak.
Tell us about your trivia
the last
streak.
2 weeks in a row at the Flying Saucer in Cordova, my team has taken first place.
Oh, well, it's a good thing. I thought it was a ragging thing. Your boy Joe Ferguson dropped us a line, wanted to talk about your trivia.
Well, Joe is...
I think there's something he's not telling us.
No, not at all.
I can't imagine Joe being like, hey, have him tell you about his trivia streak without being something negative.
Well, it's so funny. So both times we didn't plan on being there on trivia night. We just showed up to hang out, two different groups. And it's very loud in there, but we're trying to have a conversation. We're like, okay, we're just going to talk in between the questions. And I said 2 weeks ago, I said, we should just go get a card just to have one in front of us, to fill out answers just in case we decide to play along or whatever. And we didn't. And then the question started, and like the first question goes out, and it was political in nature, but not really like, I don't know. Like the first question was, who did Bush beat in 92 to win the presidency? And the answer was Dukakis. And I couldn't have come up with that name to save my life. But
I could have done that.
But one of the guys at the table just immediately came up and said, Dukakis.
Yeah.
And then the next question was, what was George H.W. Bush's service dog's name? And he's like, Sully. Like he just snapped it out. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go get a card. So I went and got a trivia card, and we just, started writing down answers, and took first place a week ago. And then Joe Ferguson and a couple other people. And it was actually the Nerds Drinking Crew. The hosts and their better halves showed up this past Tuesday. And it was the same kind of situation. We weren't there for trivia, but hey, we'll just go ahead and grab a card and start playing. And we took first place.
Has the Nerds Drinking podcast gone away for now?
It's on extended hiatus.
Yeah.
We still have all the technologies.
But I haven't been missing podcasts.
No, as a matter of fact, Joe, because of your insistence that there was an unpublished episode, Joe has gone looking for that episode recently to do the production that needs to be done on it to release it, and he says there's not one.
He's mining the ones and zeros looking for the.
He said there is not one in the rafters that got lost.
I like it. I like the podcast. I feel like there is one, but what do I know?
But it's been like 2.5 years since we recorded.
It's been a long time.
Man, I didn't even get through my introductions.
No, you didn't.
I was going to say, like, this is our guest, Jake Ludwig or something, because people don't get to see you behind the camera.
Right. Nobody knows who I am.
We got Big Thirsty on the couch with us.
This is like the sexiest episode ever.
Yeah.
We don't want to say that with Amanda missing.
Yeah, my life is not good this evening because my wife, Amanda, jacked and tan, is sick. And she is super sick.
That stinks.
And she doesn't have the flu, but she's got some serious respiratory stuff going on. Yeah. So I'm very sad about that.
Well, do we have any reviews?
We have the Reverend sitting next to Thirsty, Von Rawls.
He's not through his introduction yet.
I get all off kilter. How are you,
I
Von?
didn't even know he introduced you yet.
He just said.
Oh,
that was it.
Gotcha. Sorry, I missed that.
This entire episode's off kilter.
Vaughn, how are you?
It's fantastic. I'm fantastic.
What's new?
Things are going great. I'm learning a lot about. Today, at lunch, we had a market. So in our group at work, like we're a bunch of web developers, or a small group of web developers, and we have one girl who does marketing. And she does like social media marketing. That's her job. So today at lunch, we sat through an hour of a webinar about social media marketing trends for next year, like what things are going to happen next year.
How to make LHRL cool.
Things to look at. And I learned a lot working in an ad agency about, like, I tend to do things, or I've always done things like, it doesn't matter. Just put something out there. You know what I mean? Like, let's just write something, write anything. Put a picture of your squat on the social media, like whatever can get out there. Anything it doesn't matter what it is, but like you have no idea the calculation that goes into these big agencies where it's like every single word of every written post of every picture that gets posted on social media is targeted, is calculated, is written by a professional person that knows why they're about to post this piece of content, like why they're going to write this
and
blog
how
post,
it's going to affect the SEO,
how it's going to affect what words are people going to type into Google to find this particular article, and how are we going to promote this particular article? And they do that like three or four.
And they have like 42 different images that they go through and pick the one that's going to get the best response based on what they're trying to make happen.
Right.
Isn't that amazing?
It is absolutely amazing. But
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but I was just there's something that's been clicking with me lately. Is like that applies directly to your life. Like, do you like just wake up and just do whatever every day, or do you like ever think about what it is that you're going to do over the next day, the week, month, 6 months, years? Like, where are you going? Like, what are you doing with your product, with your business, with your life, with your relationships? Like, what's the goal, and what are you going to do to make that stuff happen? Like, it's really weird how that applies to everything.
Sure.
You know, it's not just marketing, it's not just advertising, it's everything. Like, are you just like walking around going, oh, I think I'll write this today, or I'll do the, why are you doing it though? Like, what, are you going to go work out today? Why are you going to work out today? What's the end result here? Like,
it's interesting to hear you say that, because you've seemed more streamlined lately, and I have to believe that that's because of your job and what you're seeing at your work somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I that is totally a true statement, and it's just made me just a better all around at everything. You know, once I apply these principles that I see every day, which is, no, we're not just going to do, because I'm really bad about like let's say you came and asked me to build you a website. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just build you a website, and then you go back and like, I show you the website I built, and you're like, well, this looks like shit. Like, well, I thought it looked good. And you're like, well, I think it looks like shit. And I'm like, well, we probably should have talked about what you wanted this thing to look like before I started working on it. You know what I mean? And you don't, and that's like my everyday. Like, there is no wavering from, there's no like, oh, well, I just did this because I thought it would be a good idea. There are no, I thought this would be a good idea. Somebody thought this whole thing through, and it's your job to do it exactly as they built it for you to do.
Right.
Does that make sense? So I learn a lot in that regard, and I just think it's really cool.
Well, and there's benefits to getting paid to do just that. I mean, when you have the money to, when you're paying somebody X amount of thousands of dollars per word of copy, literally.
Right.
You know, it better be, what you're saying better be good.
Yes.
And I was talking to my brother, who's in a band and who has a website. They just got signed by the people who they record with.
Oh, that's cool.
And so he's got a website that's going to be released when it gets released. And so we were discussing the everything from the font to how wordy things are. And I told him that and he just loves the Lift Heavy Run Long logo. And he's always talking about how much he likes that.
Oh, that's awesome.
And, you know, I told him I don't have anything to do with that, but I do too. And I've always loved it. But I could never be a copy ad writer because I'm so wordy. There's always one more thing that I want to say, and one more point that I want to get across. Yeah. And you read those ads that, you know, FedEx or whoever puts out, and it probably costs, I don't know how much, a lot of money.
Yeah.
More than I got in my wallet.
I mean,
and it's 12 words.
We have multiple people that is their job, just to write copy. So like if there's like an ad or some sort of banner on your website, there's a guy that put like multiple hours into figuring out what that 2-line little blurb, what that copy was supposed to be. Yeah. And that's literally his job, and he gets paid a lot of money to do it. You know, so it's just so cool.
That's not the job for me. For all kinds of reasons. Y'all want to hear a review?
I would love to hear one if we've got one.
I got an outstanding review. This one makes me so happy I can hardly even stand it. I can hardly even read it because I can't see. But I'm going to. And it's got a bunch of stars. You know how many?
It's got 5.
It's got 5. It was written on December 12th, which was yesterday, and it's written by our friend Monica. I've followed Vaughn since the beginning of LHRL. I met him when he was my CrossFit coach for a little while at DeSoto CrossFit. and Wilson and his blog posts for a while too, but somehow had never listened to a podcast. What the hell was I thinking? A couple weeks ago, I took a day off of work and decided to paint my guest bath. Since I recently signed up for the LHRL app, I thought of the LHRL podcast. Being generally a nonconformist, I decided to start with the most recent and work my way backwards, and I am currently on 110. I found myself laughing out loud a lot and also touched by hearing about the different guests' fitness journeys. I find it very interesting that lifting, running, CrossFit seems to be something that addicts gravitate towards, and I really appreciate Wilson and others for sharing that part of their lives. I can honestly say that I have learned something from every podcast I've listened to, starting with the fact that I never want to run anywhere near Brian the Dream Crusher Swanson. Because my dreams are fragile, dude. Smiley face. I also 100% want to find the time to get more involved in the local running community. I've been running since 2009, and somehow the practice run for Walking Tall was my first ever group run. The podcast is so cool and comfortable that you kind of feel like they are sitting on your screen porch just shooting the shit with you. Expletive deleted for Wilson. I said shit, she didn't. So keep going. Keep doing what you're doing, peeps, and I hope to see you out there on the trail soon. I will be in the back with Wilson, or behind him, actually.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That's a great review.
Thank you,
yes,
Monica.
it was.
She's an awesome lady.
It's funny, her saying something about not wanting to run with me because I'm a dream crusher. I wish I could remember the context, but it was at the St. Jude half. At some point in the first mile or two, Crystal and I ran the half together, and she said something along the lines of, my only request is, you don't, you don't crush my dreams during this run, or something like that. Don't bust my bubble or whatever. I can't, and I wish I could remember what it was we were talking about that she didn't want, didn't want me to be Debbie Downer or something like that. I can't remember. But.
Well, it's funny. It's great that you appreciate the humor and that you see where it's coming from, because you're not a Debbie Downer. You're very much a realist. And I think that you say the things that I don't want to say because I don't want anybody feeling anything less than great about whatever decision they make.
Fair enough.
And then you point out that may not be a bad decision right before they poke their eye out, while I would be sitting over there like, oh, I told them it was a great idea. I hate
You'll love having just one eye.
That's
It'll
right.
be okay. They make patches for that.
It's Christmas time, dudes.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Christmas time.
Are y'all in the holiday spirit or no?
I am. Week before Thanksgiving, had the tree up. All the kids came over and helped decorate it. That's always a big thing for us every year. I'm getting a steady stream of Amazon boxes delivered to the house as gifts arrive and stuff like that. So I'm definitely feeling the Christmas spirit.
Can you believe people celebrated Christmas before Amazon?
My goal is to not step inside a mall this year. This will be the first year ever, if I can accomplish it, is to buy every single gift online and not step into a mall to buy anything.
Amanda does all of our Christmas stuff. Handles every
Holly's
bit.
the same way.
She handles everything in our day-to-day lives, really,
Yep.
Including you.
including me. She
Yep.
handles everything and tolerates me, which I can't ask for anything more than that.
Yeah.
But I mean, our gravel driveway is eroded and about to fall apart just from the trucks that come in and out of our car
Delivering presents?
boxes.
Wow.
I mean, we have 3 of them every day.
Wow.
There's an Amazon, FedEx.
Is Amazon actually, like Amazon delivery drivers actually delivering in out here?
I haven't seen that, but I've seen the
Okay.
Amazon vans
Yeah,
around
so
Memphis.
Amazon has contract drivers now that are delivering for them, and so if you go to the Amazon website and track your order, it'll give you like
2 stops away.
UPS tracking number or FedEx tracking number or USPS tracking number. Well, now it says Amazon, and when Amazon delivers it, just what Vaughn said, like they can tell you like your package is 5 stops away from being delivered, and once it's delivered, they take a picture of it being sitting on your front doorstep or wherever they left it, and send that to you so you can actually see where it was put and stuff like that.
Do they have some sort of Uber-like service to deliver Amazon packages now? Like that
They're
you could sign
getting
up
one.
for?
Somebody was just talking about that this week.
It's really weird because I walked
Yep.
out front of work the other day and there was like this 1995 Toyota Camry.
Oh yeah.
Loaded full of Amazon
as a
packages.
contract driver, yeah, you can basically sign up for a route, and I think it pays pretty decent money, like 20, 30, $40 an hour or something like that to go deliver. And it's not an hour; it's like based on the number of deliveries that you get paid. But yeah, like you totally load it up into your personal vehicle and then go drive around all these places and drop the stuff off.
Like either that person was downtown Memphis,
one of my
either that person just stole a whole bunch of Amazon packages, or they've got some sort of weird delivery thing going on.
Well, one of my favorite memes going around right now, it's like it's talking about the deliveries, and it's like FedEx, will say, your packages, it's in Cincinnati and it's going to be in Memphis, on Thursday for delivery, and UPS is like, it'll be delivered, Thursday afternoon by 5 p.m. and post office is like, you shipped something, and Amazon, the joke is like, we're in your apartment, because that's actually part, like you can get this, you can get an automated lock, and basically the delivery driver can walk up, hit a button, and it will unlock your door where they can put the package inside.
Yep.
And then you're supposed to have a camera pointed at the door that's provided by Amazon. It's like an Echo camera or whatever.
Right.
And so it'll record the delivery driver like coming in and placing the box. And then you get that video or whatever, so like that's a thing.
Then you got a guy like Vaughn on your front door. Is that the same doorbell you're talking about?
I don't know if it's the same doorbell or not, but
it's so funny because I saw a video earlier today of people are starting to steal the Nest doorbells.
Oh, like just rip them off of people.
This guy walks up to the doorbell with a screwdriver and just goes, you're seeing his face right in the camera, and he's like prying the thing off the wall, and then it just goes dark.
Oh,
that's funny.
That's funny. You talking about the Amazon people pulling up and picking up packages? My roommate years ago was downtown with his girlfriend on St. Patrick's Day leaving Mulligan's, and it's like midnight. They're out drinking and they call a cab, and they get in the taxi, and the guy's like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "Wherever they're going." He's like, $20. He's like, "All right." He's like, "All right," and the taxi driver has a 24-ounce, beer in his hand, and he starts driving. My buddy's like, I'm totally cool with the drinking and driving. I just don't want to be doing the driving, but I was just curious, like, do they not have any problems with you drinking and driving at work? And he's like, I'm not even a taxi driver. My car looks like a taxi, and my friends were like, you ought to go out and make some money on like holidays and pick people up. And he's like, hey, I'm
the original Uber guy. How long ago was that?
A six-pack with me, and
this is like 10 years ago.
That's awesome.
That's hilarious.
I bring up the Amazon delivery driver thing because I'm ordering a bunch of stuff. UPS, FedEx, Post Office, they know how to deliver stuff to my front door. In the last, I'm going to say 30, 45 days, there have been 3 packages that Amazon was supposed to deliver to my house. There's been an issue with all 3 of them, and only one of those 3 actually made it to my front door.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why they can't figure it out, but
well, they've never done that before, right? So I think, is that what they're doing, is figuring it out? It's probably a bad idea, but
so the first 2 packages both came the same day, but apparently they weren't being delivered by the same driver. And so I live in a gated community, but my front door is on a publicly accessible street. And depending on what you use for GPS routing, it will try and take you into the gated area to go to my address.
Oh, right.
So they're like, oh, we need your gate code to be able to deliver to your address. And I'm like, no, you don't. My address is actually out on the public street. So I had to actually, took almost an hour, like with Amazon chat, support rep or whatever, to basically explain to them the issue and how they didn't need it. And then they put some kind of notes in my customer record so that it would never be an issue again. So later that day, package number 1 of 2 that were supposed to be delivered that day gets delivered to my front door where it was supposed to be delivered to. The next day, I get an email from Amazon that the second package was lost or damaged and you're SOL.
Huh.
And it's like, huh? And so like I had to contact them to get them to refund it, to give me a refund. And I don't know, like, okay, you guys lost or damaged the package. I mean, you're Amazon. Go ahead and send me another one. I still want the thing that I ordered. Like, why can't I just click a button to say, send it again or whatever? But no, I had to go through a refund process and order it separately again on my own. And then the third package got delivered to my neighbor, which is funny.
Don't be saying bad things about Amazon on this podcast. If that's what you're trying to do is drag Amazon's name through the mud,
I am.
You're not going to do it here.
Okay.
Bezos will shut us down.
Amazon has... I've thought that Amazon was wrong about a half dozen times, and every time it's been somewhere. It's been either in my mailbox or on my front porch or on my back porch.
So
they always get it right.
I'm laughing specifically about the picture of the package on my front door because it's not my front door. And the funny thing is about my building, so a lot of people get confused because it's hard to figure out what the building number is. Because there are giant numbers over every door that is the condo number, which is not the building number. So I'm like building number on street name, apartment number, such and such. So how they got to the right building, but how they got it to the wrong door is what cracks me up because that is the giant number that's on the outside of each of the doors. Like, I just don't know how they put it in the wrong door, but whatever. I still got it.
Well, good. I'm glad that you got your stuff. We've gotten all our stuff.
I was going to say something, and I forgot what. Oh,
my mouthwash and soap came in today from Amazon. Thank you.
Good.
Did you know, I learned this in this thing I did today, 50% of the population has Amazon Prime.
Wow.
That
of the world or U.S.?
Of the United States.
Okay. I would think of the United States.
How crazy is that, though, when you think about
What?
it?
Name your price. What wouldn't you pay if Amazon Prime said we're charging $200 a year from now on? Would you pay it?
Probably, yeah.
I would too.
I would, only because I'm taking advantage of things more than just 2-day delivery.
Video.
I'm taking advantage of the fact that
TV
Amazon is responsible for a lot of my comforts in life and will continue to do so. I'm fine with Amazon taking it all over. And I'm fine with Amazon continuing to move forward and telling me where I need to be in the mornings and what I need to do as an occupation. They are so good and so efficient at everything that they do. If they just want, they can have all of it.
They should.
If they want to put something in my brain, they can do that.
I mean, they're already in your house.
Well, let's just hope
Alexa,
that they don't create a coaching app. We don't want them to create. We don't want them.
I want them to create the Lift Heavy Run Long app.
Do you?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're good at what they do.
Why don't you call Bezos? See if he'll talk to you.
Who's Bezos? Should I know this guy?
Owns Amazon.
He's the guy that founded Amazon. He's the CEO.
Well, they're good, man.
How do you not know who that is?
I don't read. Well, how would I know who it is?
Well, you just went on at least a 5-minute rant about how awesome Amazon is.
Their app. I put stuff in their app and they bring it to me.
You don't care about that.
But that's all I know about it. I don't go online and research them.
Gotcha.
I don't go online and research anything except for how to make apps and who makes them. That's all I look at. And Facebook. I don't know anything going on in the world.
Is this a fitness podcast?
It's just us.
This is a whatever we want it to be.
Anybody who might have
We've
been
talked about
listening,
marketing and technology and logistics. What else can we talk about?
Here's what matters. What matters is I put the podcast on the way to work this morning because somebody said something, made a comment about when you said something or whatever. I was like, oh, I'll listen to it on the way to work. And I laughed like halfway.
Laughing at us talking?
Halfway to work, I'm just laughing out loud.
It's entertaining.
It is. It doesn't, it doesn't matter.
I don't often go back and re-listen to our shows, but when I do, I end up laughing even harder than I did the first time, like live in the moment of it. Or whatever.
Well, I think you have to now because people are starting to make references and stuff. Like people are actually listening to the podcast.
Right.
So they're like, "Oh man, you can't have somebody that listens to your podcast make an inside joke that you don't get."
Oh no! I mean, I usually remember the conversations and stuff like that for the most part, but I don't know. But you're right. Like it's funny more and more at races. Showing up and somebody will make some reference to one of our podcast jokes or something like that, or like somebody like just walking up to me and being like, "What's up, Big Thirsty?" It's like obviously they're a listener because I don't go by that anywhere else.
You don't answer that at work.
I mean, there's nobody in the world that knows me by that except a podcast listener.
Do people at your work listen to the podcast?
No, I think one of my coworkers tuned in one night. I saw her name pop up on the is watching list or whatever, but she didn't comment on it the next day. My family doesn't even watch this.
I think my mom does.
We
I
know
know my
Wilson's
mom
family
does.
does. Wilson's aunt was here last week.
Sometimes
she was
before
awesome,
the
by the way.
podcast.
Sometimes
My
my wife
aunt is
will turn
totally. She is like the most chillest person in every situation that you could possibly imagine. What you saw over there was her 24/7 and has been since I've been alive. She's just
That's awesome.
always cool. And it's like, if you're a skater, whatever. If you're a
Whatever your
your
it's
thing
cool.
is, just do that thing and don't be.
Everybody needs to be that way.
Yeah. If everybody was like my Aunt Laura, it would be a much better place to live.
Very chill.
So Christmas is coming up. You get fat at Christmas?
As opposed to the rest of the year.
Yeah. I mean, is that something that you have?
I've been gaining weight the last couple months.
What about you, Vaughn? Is that something you have to look out for?
It depends. Normally, yeah, not right now. Not right now because I'm training like I'm supposed to and I'm eating pretty good. Halloween and Halloween's probably
Halloween's a big event for you.
for me. It is, yeah. I'll tell you why because my kid, my daughter Abby, when Holly and I first got married, you know, I'm divorced from her mom, so holidays.
Holly's mom?
No, from my daughter Abby's mom.
Just messing.
And so holidays were like every other
Oh, right.
year.
Right.
She would do Christmas with us or she'd go with her mom. But Halloween, she was always home. And it became like this one time a year that Abby didn't have to go anywhere. And so we made it a huge deal for whatever reason. We would make a big pot of chili and invite everybody over, invite all the neighbors and stuff like that. And Halloween would be a huge deal. So it just became, over the last 15 years, it's just become like a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I guess that's my way of explaining to you why Halloween.
You forgot to hit the camera. Millions of people are going to want to see Big Thirsty on the camera, and you didn't turn the damn thing on.
You turned it on.
Now he's punching the button like a
And now,
madman.
like I told you
and
not
the
to do.
light's not going to flip. And now
I
he
made
doesn't
it
know if it's
clear.
recording, or you may as well get up and walk over there.
$4 billion is what you manage through
You
your
can
app, and you
keep
can't
your-
hit a button.
And $1,000 camera.
There's only one button on the thing.
Just get up and walk over there.
You were supposed to press
Here,
the button until the flash came on once. Is it because you can't aim it correctly or because you keep hitting it incessantly? And now you don't know if it's on or off.
I haven't seen it flash.
I'm going
It's
to walk
not
over
flashing.
there. Y'all think of something to talk about. I'm going to walk over there and see if it's recording.
Well, we were talking about
When I
something.
get
What were we
back, you
talking
better
about?
have a good topic.
When you come back. By the time he gets back, we better have a good topic.
What I tell you?
You can put an ad right here. We could put an ad in this space while Wilson is going over there to turn the camera on.
Has it been off this whole
Is it
time?
the battery's dead, I think.
No, it's plugged in. Is it recording now?
Do you I have a let's talk about podcasting some more. Do you edit what goes onto iTunes versus what goes onto YouTube?
No.
Okay, so it's all the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't do that much editing.
I just remembered why I
Or
asked you
at
that
least
question.
it's
For some reason, I'm trying all these new different podcast apps because I think for some reason there might be a new app out there that is better than iTunes or whatever on my phone. And so this morning when I played this week's episode with Lisa, like I was like, it started playing and I was like, this is not what I said. This is different. I was playing a different episode, so I had to close it and go back and listen to this week's episode, which is a really good episode, and you should go listen to it if you haven't already.
Did I upload the wrong episode? To the
No,
wrong thing?
but for a
'Cause
minute,
I have done
no,
that
no,
before.
you did not. For a minute, that's what I was thinking. I was like, does he edit? He edited that part out, but it was the wrong episode. So the app was crappy that I was using and played the wrong damn episode.
Y'all got any events coming up over the holidays? Fitness events?
Dopey's my next deal.
That's January 8th.
I want to say the first race is the 10th, but don't quote me on that.
Are you going to be in town for her Parsons?
I'll be in town. I am not running.
Okay.
I haven't decided if I'm running or not, but I will be in town.
I think you should do her Parsons.
I think I can try to do it. Yeah, it would be a good thing for me to do, for sure. Because I have Sillamore. We all have Sillamore in February.
Yep, but nobody's. I need you to run her Parsons.
Is nobody else doing it?
There's some people.
He's got a ton of people doing it. Don't
it
let him.
expensive
Don't let him convince you that he's going to be lonely out there. There's a ton of. He just wants more people signed up for it. He wants other people out there suffering with him. He's got. There's a lot of people that are going to be out there. I'm going to
be there.
I'll probably be out there to support you guys before the race.
Okay.
But it's like the weekend before Dopey, so I don't want to twist an ankle or something like that out there on the trails.
Yeah. And we got Swamp Stomper after Dopey.
Swamp Stomper.
That's crazy that you signed up for that thing.
I'm not kind of stupid.
That sounds super redneck.
That is Martin Luther King weekend, right?
Okay. I don't know.
Nobody knows. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm going to be gone.
I think Dopey is 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. And then
Swamp Stomper is like the 14th.
I'm going to end up having to pull it up now. Swamp Stomper. No. Yeah, I was right. Dopey is 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Swamp Stomper is the 20th.
So, we need to figure out if Swamp Stomper is Martin Luther King.
I've got hypotheticals that I want to ask y'all about.
Okay.
You want to do some hypotheticals? I came up with these today because I knew that y'all weren't paying attention to my fucking whatever it's called, my Slack questions. I don't know where y'all think y'all can get off. Just completely ignore me.
I feel like you ask that question every time we do one of these, and nobody ever answers it.
Nobody ever comes in prepared.
Because nobody ever comes in with anything.
And yet we manage to have really great episodes.
It's because I got a bunch of hypotheticals. Without these hypotheticals,
all right, let's do it,
dude. We are 40 minutes into this conversation without having had to talk to your hypotheticals. Okay, and right now, all you're doing is hijacking the conversation. Okay, we were still having a naturally flowing conversation.
Now we have a new segment of the show, which I'm excited about, called
Hypotheticals.
Can you insert some intro music, ladies and gentlemen? It's that time again this week for Just the Host, #hypotheticals.
I asked you guys 2 questions on Slack. 8 hours later, Thirsty hasn't responded, and all you put was ha ha.
Because you made a funny gif. So
I made a funny gif saying, why won't y'all respond to my
gif?
At 6:30, Wilson posts, y'all got any topics for today or something along that line? And then at 8:30, he's basically pouting. He posts a GIF where he's pouting because nobody has replied to him yet.
Well, let's do some hypotheticals.
Let's do some hypotheticals because Wilson is prepared, and we don't want his preparation to go to waste.
They're good hypotheticals. I'm not even going to give you the good
Is this going to be like, who would win in a fight between Ditka and God? Trick question. Ditka is God.
I'm thinking about not even letting you do these.
Oh, no, you have to do it now because we made a new segment with intro music.
It's got intro music.
You're going to have to be quiet while I read these. You're going to go first, Thirsty.
Okay.
If you could be the strongest and never run again, or the fastest and never lift again, which one would it be?
I'd rather run than lift. I'm still a runner that CrossFits and not a CrossFitter that runs.
Okay. All right. You've always felt that way?
Yeah.
And you would always want to be that way. I mean, if somebody said, like, you could be super jacked, you don't even have to put any effort into it, but you can't run.
I look pretty damn good as a runner, too.
There you go.
I don't need to be jacked. I don't need to be a jacked lifter to look good.
All right. All right. Vaughn?
I believe that I'm going to
follow that humility.
I am going to go with running.
Okay.
I think in the long run,
there's a reason. I don't think I would do well without a long run every couple months.
And I was just about to say, I get a lot of pleasure in going into the gym and testing a deadlift 1 rep max, once or twice a year or whatever. But nothing beats getting lost on the trails for 4, 5, 10 hours or whatever, whenever you want to. You just can't compare. I wouldn't want to be stuck inside a gym as much as I would need to be.
It's really hard to say, but now that I'm thinking about this, Yesterday, what was Tuesday? Somebody said, I go into the gym and I'm in the gym and that is me time. Like, it's not like
Somebody called you out for not talking.
It's not like I want to go in there and talk to everybody and woohoo, let's have a good time. I go in there and it's almost like it's an experience for me. It's like a meditative experience for me. And somebody said the other day, you're not talking to anybody. You wouldn't even know you're here. And I'm like, well, it's because that's not why I'm here.
Well, you said you're meditating.
Yeah,
which is,
that's exactly what I said. And I don't know if I could take that away, like if
a lot of people, that's their social time. I mean, some people, they can't show up unless their workout partner's there. You're your own accountability person.
But I get the same thing out of running as well, especially long runs, not necessarily shorter runs. So then I think the answer is running still, because I can do that always and anywhere. You know what I mean? Like if you have to choose one, you can't ever do it again. Like, well, I can go out and run right now. I don't need any equipment or anything like that. So I guess I'm going to choose run.
Well, just to show you that I'm not a one-trick pony, I've got another hypothetical.
I want you to answer the question.
That's almost as good as – I think that I would rather be – I would choose to be the strongest, and then I would run anyway.
You just wouldn't follow the rules. Because you wouldn't follow the rules.
Nobody could tell me what to do. I would just crawfish on the deal. Okay. This is a good one. I put a lot of thought into this the whole time. Instead of stewing about how frustrated I was at y'all for not replying to my Slack, if you could stay at your current fitness level where you are right now, never PR again, but you would never get injured for the rest of your life, or you could be an elite athlete in any sport for the next 7 years, and then lose your legs, or whatever happens that causes you not to be able to participate.
There can't be consequences like that. You just have to not be. It's a hypothetical question.
You just can't do what you used to do.
You just can't do it anymore.
You get the point.
Because you're not chopping my legs off.
I'm going to, depending on your answer, I've got someone lined up to see you in 7 years.
Okay.
He's on hold right now.
I'm pretty much already in this position where I'm content with never PRing again and just kind of maintaining the fitness level.
I thought you were going to say you're already an elite athlete. You plan to be for the rest of your life.
Planning to be. No, I mean, the guarantee of never getting injured would be awesome. But beyond that, I mean, it takes more effort and motivation than I'm willing to put forth to be the PR guy and be the elite.
Well, he didn't say that. He said you could just have it.
Well, I know.
Or he could stay where he is, right? He's saying
I'm telling you, I'm already where I'm one of those. I'm already at right now.
He just needs to not get injured.
I just need to not get injured,
or have his legs cut off.
Well, we're not.
I mean, I should. I did.
Vaughn wants to make it. He's trying to make it real clear that he doesn't want his legs cut off.
Nobody wants their legs cut off in 7 years.
You'll just wake up with no legs. It won't hurt.
No.
I don't want that to factor into your answer.
Yeah, I still have legs.
Your legs. You have your legs. They still work. But if you tried to run, they would immediately collapse.
They would set off an alarm.
Oh, so you're saying I could be an elite athlete for 7 years, and then I cannot do any physical activity after that? Oh, I'm definitely going with where I'm at right now.
Okay, I didn't know it'd be that easy. I thought it'd take more thought than that.
I want to be.
You want to try a little harder on your next hypothetical?
If it meant.
Here's the thing.
If it meant winning the event, would you rather go through extreme, think you're going to freeze to death or chafe to death?
Freeze.
Yeah, chafing's worse than freezing.
No, I would not wish chafing on anybody.
It's so bad.
Well, that kind of answers my next question.
Terrible.
Because I was thinking about Steve's shoes that he got us here. Would you rather run a marathon in wooden shoes or with a piece of sandpaper attached to your inner thigh?
I would do the sandpaper because I don't think my thighs touch each other.
Oh, my thighs definitely rub. I would run in wooden shoes. How long's the race?
A marathon.
It's a
I didn't.
It's 26.2
miles.
Wait, is this a 5K? Is this a 5K marathon or?
People do get. I think Do you guys think that like marathons are becoming so overdone now, where it's like people run half marathons and they ran a marathon?
Well, I think
Because,
non-runners think marathon means race, and they don't understand that's a distance. I
Okay.
think that's the confusion.
I just seems like I noticed
Well,
a
there's
lot
no
of
reason to know what a marathon is.
Granted, and I'm not calling, but I mean, because and I was actually making the joke because like I've had people come up to me and be like, "Oh yeah, I ran a marathon this weekend." And I was like, "Really? I didn't even know you were training." Yeah, I went out and I did that 5K on Saturday for such and such, and I was like, "Oh, you did a 5K? Okay." Yeah, that's what I said.
I just feel
well,
like
that's not a marathon. I mean, and I don't. I'm not trying. I'm being a dream crusher. Like, I'm sorry, you didn't run a marathon.
Yeah.
Right. But
Well,
and
it's
so
like-
I educate them on the difference. But I've had like more
It just
than a few people
it just
say.
seems like there's an uptick in like, oh yeah, so and so ran the marathon too. I was like, oh really? Wow, okay. And they were like, yeah, 13 miles is a long way. I was like, well, I ran 26 miles. I ran the full marathon. Like I just seem to be noticing that more lately than I have in the past.
Well, and somebody who doesn't run, they don't give a shit anyway. So I mean, if somebody's like, "I'm running the half marathon,"
It
at
may
St.
as well
Jude,
be
they're not
26
going to be
miles.
like,
Right.
"Oh, they're running the half marathon at St. Jude." They're going to be like,
Right.
"They're running that marathon."
I'm
thing.
not that guy though. That
And
goes,
a marathon is just a long way. So if somebody said, it's like saying, "Man, I got in this fight in this bar and WrestleMania broke out and it was nuts." Well, it wasn't WrestleMania,
Right.
but it was really a lot of people
right.
kicking
Well,
ass.
here's a hypothetical. Are you the guy that goes, "Oh no, that was a half marathon"? When you hear someone say,
I'm definitely the one that will educate
No
them.
way.
"I'm not that guy.
No.
I am not that guy." I'm like, yeah, I just.
And I mean, I try and do it in a tasteful. It's not like me busting your balls for it took you longer than a day to do a hundo.
Right. It's 100 miles.
I know, but
It's not
but
like
but
I
this goes
ran
back-
50 miles and I'm telling people, "Oh yeah, I went and did that 100 miler."
Yeah.
I would correct somebody on that one, by the way.
Yeah.
Hypothetically.
Yeah. So I'm definitely. I mean, and like I said, I try and not do it in a jerky way, but I definitely when somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I ran a marathon,"
you send
didn't
them a
run
handwritten
marathon.
letter.
You didn't. You didn't run a
Certified.
marathon.
Like,
You ran a 5K.
What's it
So
called?
Wikipedia sends them the link. What
You
is
gotta
it?
So, so this year for St. Jude, I was on the Juice Plus team because the woman that I'm dating was the head of the team, and she asked me to join it. And they had a team event beforehand, the night before the race, and they were giving out prizes for different things. And what they basically said is, if you've ever run a half marathon or marathon, stand up. And so most of the room goes ahead and stands up, because it wasn't everybody's first time doing it. And then they're like, okay, if you've run more than one, stay standing, and there's more than 5, more than 10, and they're basically trying to whittle it down to like 2 or 3 people, right?
the distance never went up. It was just
No, it was just a
marathon.
marathon or a half, either one. And one woman, she was like, oh, I've done like 255 half marathons. And they started talking to her about it. She's run 13.1 miles 255 times, like training runs. Like she hasn't actually run races.
Yeah, it's
and
not races.
Yeah, and so they had to go back and clarify. No, we mean races. But
People just think weird stuff, man. Like you never know what people are like.
she was kind of a prideful type person that just wanted the notoriety of being able to say she won. So
Y'all beat her ass.
He took her out back and.
I just
Gave her a
corrected.
You'll never do that again.
I just corrected.
All right, well, you got another one?
Yeah, we got a bunch of stuff we can talk about. Let's see.
No, are you more hypotheticals?
Let me see.
Are we still in the
We
hypothetical?
got to play the
side?
outro music of the segment of the show if we're done with the hypotheticals.
All right, here's one. Well, the first I wanted to ask. Let's see.
He's all dis-
If you were given an unlimited budget, if you're given $10 million
Oh, yes. I love these
to
questions.
grow and strengthen Lift Heavy Run Long, but we're expected to generate at least a small return, at least trying to at least break even.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you would do for the community?
I would set up a race series.
Set up a race series.
It would be an epic race
It'd
series.
be an epic race series. Trail races?
Yes.
Okay.
More than likely, we would create the LHRL experience.
Like destination
Destination
Yes.
trail races where it's like an all-inclusive type. You just sign up and We take care of your travel and everything. You get to hang out with the hosts. That's what I would do.
Fully stocked bar at the end with like hot tubs.
$10 million?
However much you need.
However much. Okay, the first thing I'd do is quit my job. And might make Brian quit his job. And we would buy the Gardener Shadow from you. And then we
would throw it in the dumpster on the way to
we
wherever
can't make
we were
Amanda
going.
stop being a doctor.
Right.
That's kind of a dumb thing to say. So, and then we would all just we would build the app. Was what we would do. Number one, right? Then we would start a race, a trail race, and then we would do LHRL Palooza.
What would LHRL Palooza look like?
It would look like a huge event where everybody just comes and does a race or whatever, and then we would have all kinds of cool shit going on for like a weekend.
Be
At
like
least a weekend.
like a rock concert, like a music festival
There
where
would
there's
be
a
bands,
race going
there would
on.
be bands playing. There would be races happening. There would be weightlifting happening. There would be like a weightlifting competition. There would be a 5K, a marathon, all kinds of shit going
24-hour race.
20. That's even better. Like, let's make a 36-hour race where there's bands and weightlifting competitions.
I've thought about that. What about like a 36-hour race or 24-hour race that's weighted? That's weighted, not like a weight vest, but where however many deadlifts at this percentage of your body weight counts for 1 mile, or pull-ups count for 1 mile, or this counts. And so you can just be doing whatever you want to do and being
If you wanted to take a break from
Yeah,
running,
that'd be awesome. But see here, okay, so
like I'm going to go do deadlifts for a while.
but we got.
I'm going to do pull-ups.
but you're
for
still
a
getting
while.
credit.
Yeah.
You're still getting points.
Yeah,
We have
let's
to
go
make-
over here and do a yoga pose.
The hypothetical says we have to make a profit though. So first thing we have to do is get this app. First thing we have to do is quit all of our jobs.
First, step one is always the app.
Always the app. We got to get the app going and the website going, and make those two things be like. That's the machine.
I only need mine $9 million to make the app work. So you guys can have the other $1 million for the race or the event that you want.
The app would be worth your while, I believe. The app that we want to build, because we got a good idea for a great app that would help a lot of people and will strengthen
every
the
time,
community.
So for those since we hadn't really talked about it, Wilson and I basically talk once a week about the app and have for 4 or 5 weeks now.
Yep.
Ish. And just talking through ideas, and the idea is that we want to flush out as much of how exactly this thing's going to work before we write the first line of code, so that we're not building and rebuilding and everything like that. So every time we talk, I get more excited because we've got ideas that nobody else is doing right now. That
Don't
really
say
make it
'em.
awesome.
Okay, just making sure.
It wouldn't matter even. You're right. Don't. But it wouldn't matter even if you did, because anybody that was going to take it doesn't have the community.
That's
Our
right.
community is so strong. We just need a way to bring them together and make it fun.
I
And that's
agree
what
with that
that's what
wholeheartedly.
if we can pull this off, that's what it'll be. It'll be
And it's gonna be like a multi-phase type implementation. I mean, phase 1 is replacing the existing app. We're not going to come out the gate with 100% of the ideas that we have implemented. It'll be just replacing the existing app is all we're going to focus on at first.
and then I'm going to log in and screw it all up. And then he's going to fix that. And then we'll move on to the second phase.
And so I'm not saying you're this person, but a joke that I have in software development is they always say, create idiot-proof software. But every time you create idiot-proof software, the world creates a bigger idiot.
The idiots just get better and better.
So that's challenge accepted, right? It's like that you will be my beta tester. I'll just give it to you, and you'll randomly type the wrong stuff into the wrong fields and see what we can break.
All day long. Just want to play with it all day long. I thought about this question a lot. The 10 million. I didn't even really think. I was thinking this would be a good question for y'all, and then I wound up daydreaming about it for a good portion of the day.
Well, that's the thing you're supposed to do is say, hey, man, if you had all the money in the world, what would you be doing?
And
I
that's
thought-
what you should go do.
I thought
right?
that I would like to. It started out with, I think that I would get a group of like a recording crew, and I would go to.
That would definitely happen. Yeah.
I would go to halfway houses or people that are fresh out of rehab, and I would document. I would work out deals with gyms, and I would document.
Oh, that's a good
like,
idea
addicts.
too. Yeah.
Oh man, we could
But
create
that's
a
all.
reality.
The way that I
reality
think
show.
about it is that's all under the LHRL umbrella.
We create a
You know what I
reality
mean? Like,
show where you go
once you have
find
that-
these guys fresh out of recovery and like get them into CrossFit and running and turn them into like elite people.
And then it morphed into, what if it was a LHRL recovery camp where you don't have to be recovering from drugs and alcohol, just a recovery from whatever the fuck is making you nuts. You sign up and you go out there for a week or however long, and
Oh yeah.
just get yourself right.
Our live Facebook watchers think that we should definitely direct a race.
I'm so afraid of organization. I really am. Anything organized. Here I am talking about what I'd do with $10 million, $100 million.
First thing you do
I already
is
know what I did with $2 million.
First thing I do is get organized.
First thing you do is give that money to somebody else to do something with it for you.
That's right. Because the first thing I would do is get high and y'all never see me again. LHRL would go in the crapper as far as I'm concerned.
That's always a fun conversation though.
We just got to find the guy with $10 million
That's
Right.
right.
who wants to give it to us. He's out there, though.
Somebody.
Got any other good ones?
I do, but I'm not going to do it. We have a segment now, so I have to ask him next
Oh.
week.
Are we gonna do this before we throw it to the guest?
And that was
And is the guest gonna be part of it?
I think so.
Hypothetical.
Next week on Hypothetical.
If you want us to answer your hypotheticals, use the hashtag LHRL Hypothetical.
Hypothetical.
We'll see you next week.
Blah. You should write a jingle.
I should. I will. I think I will.
Right? You need to do that.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Because the hour's up already.
It is.
What?
Yes.
No.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Can't
We did
be.
good, guys.
Yeah.
We only recorded 20 minutes of the
The
show.
camera's not even working.
Man,
you
I
need to
had-
fire that camera guy.
I had so many good things that I wanted to talk about with the new year, end of the new year.
Well, let's do it again next week.
I'll just
let's do
do
an
it.
extra bonus episode.
I'll just do it for. We're all covered up next week. We got our guest
Next
on
week
Tuesday.
we're doing
because-
Tuesday
But I mean, you
recording.
have to
next
do
week.
an extra day. Obviously, we would have to come here an extra time.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen next week.
Sometime
Listen
during
to this guy, the guy that wants to build an app. He can't come
because you're
for
going to
an
be building
extra
the
day
app.
for a podcast.
We should maybe get together over the holidays and do another just the guests,
We
just the
should.
hosts.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Because I got more hypotheticals. Da-da-da.
Hopefully Amanda's feeling better next time, so she could be a part of the hypothetical conversations.
No kidding. Lift heavy, run long. Number 127 is in the books.
Boom.